The incumbents are out in a couple races for the Boston City Council after coming in third in last month's historic preliminary elections. That includes Kendra Lara, who lost her 6th district seat representing Jamaica Plain, West Roxbury, and parts of Mission Hill and Roslindale. Next month, William King and Ben Weber will be going head-to-head for the job. William King is an IT director and former technology specialist for the Boston Public Schools, and he joins me now. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I want to start on the same topic that I started with Ben Weber on, which is this big plan to create a new recovery campus at the site of the current Shattuck Hospital right on the edge of Franklin Park. Hundreds of new treatment beds proposed, hundreds of new supportive housing units. What's your stance on that project?
So, yeah, I currently oppose the current scope of the project. 850 plus beds is simply just too much in one area, and I think it does little to solve the actual problem, and just relocates Mass and Cass over to Franklin Park. I definitely empathize with the situation, and I think it's a situation that we have to approach with compassion. It's a deeply personal issue for me. I had a sister who had substance abuse problems. And eventually it took her life. Yeah, so thank you. And if Mass and Cass was around when she was alive, I know she would have been on Mass and Cass. So we need to make sure that we are getting folks the services and the help that they need.
Is there a size that you would be amenable to when it comes to what's been proposed for the Shattuck site? Yeah,
I thought that the 75 to 100 original beds that were proposed was reasonable. Okay. I'm more of let's not concentrate everything in one area. I think that this is a statewide and regional issue, therefore requires statewide and regional solutions. I'd like to see more smaller pockets of services throughout the region. That way, the professionals have more one-on-one time with people in recovery, and I feel like we're going to be seeing better results.
Okay. Got to move on just to try to get as many topics as we can into another topic. You and your opponent both agree that affordable housing is a huge area of need for Boston. What's a concrete step that you would like to see the city take on that front that it isn't taking at the moment? Yeah,
so I think that, right now we have a problem with eligibility. Who's eligible for aid when it comes to housing? A lot of times what we see is people are making just too much to qualify for aid, but not enough to, live on their own. So we need to be looking at expanding eligibility across the board to help our families. But we're pricing so many hardworking individuals and families out of the city when they want to stay. And we want folks that want to come to the city to be able to afford to come to the city also. So, yeah, I'd like to see, more affordable housing that is affordable to Boston residents, more in that 30 to 50% of the AMI range, so that residents here in Boston can afford them.
Okay. Like your opponent, you've also said that you'd like to make the council less divisive than it currently is, less divided, more collaborative and collegial. How would you go about doing that?
Yeah, I think just bringing some leadership. I'm of the mindset that, sure, we can disagree, we're going to have our differences, but we've got to work together. We've got to find some common ground, and when we do, that's when we start delivering real results for our communities. I'm not of the mindset just because we disagree, we've got to stop talking. We need to restore the focus back to where it should be, on the residents who elected us to serve.
You have been endorsed by some of the more conservative voices on the council, Frank Baker, who's going to be leaving when this term expires, Aaron Murphy, for example. How do you identify yourself ideologically?
So, as a councilor, you got to represent everyone. And regardless of, personal beliefs or ideology. And, yeah, I mean, we don't always agree, but I want to, at least Councilor Murphy, who's going to be on the council, if she's reelected, she's someone I want to work with because, the people deserve that, deserve someone who's going to work with them. The way I see myself is I'm a liberal Democrat. I've always been a Democrat. always will be a Democrat, and I believe in democratic values.
I think a lot of journalists, myself included, perhaps, have characterized you as the more moderate candidate in the final vis-a-vis Ben Weber. Is that a fair characterization, or would you take issue with it?
I mean, I don't like labels. I think that I, embody a lot of different values. I have progressive beliefs. I have liberal beliefs. Some may say I have some moderate beliefs, but I think that I tend to be that more traditional liberal Democrat.
Okay. What's your position on the big plan to reconfigure West Roxbury, the West Roxbury Road diet, which is going to reinvent Center Street and elicited a ton of local opposition? I think it's about to be implemented. Do you think it's the right way to go?
So I think that we all want a safer Center Street. My problem with it was the process. We didn't have much of a community process. A lot of residents felt like they weren't being heard, that they didn't have any input in what was going on. And they had some concerns around double parking. And are we going to enforce the parking limits on Center Street? Because if you still have double parking and now you have one travel lane, you have folks who are double parked in the only travel lane, what's it going to do to the traffic that spills over onto our side streets? Are we going to have some speed bumps to try to slow down any traffic going through there for cut-throughs?
So just so I'm clear, given that you were concerned about the process that led to it, do you think that the plan as it's going to be implemented very soon, is it going to make West Roxbury and Center Street better?
I mean, it looks like they've already started to work on the redesign. So we'll see what happens. It's going in, and we'll see how it works.
Okay. In a forum that I was reading about back in the prelim involving you and Ben Weber and Kendra Lara, you noted that you are, I believe, the only candidate in this race who was born in Boston and grew up in the district. Am I getting that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that important?
Because I feel like I have that lived experience of growing up in the city. I understand a lot of the challenges that face our residents. I know where our city has been, where we want to be heading, and where we don't want to go back to. I understand the financial struggles of many that many face in this city. I grew up in a family that lived paycheck to paycheck. A mom who was disabled and couldn't work, and my dad had to work multiple minimum wage jobs just to provide. I'm a Boston Public School graduate. I've experienced the overcrowded classrooms, the lack of resources and disparities in educational opportunities. And I've experienced the violence and trauma caused by addiction firsthand. So, I've seen this city, the good and the bad, and that's what shaped me and who I am today and my outlook on the issues. And I think that is an important piece, when people are looking for someone who's going to represent them. Okay,
last question for you briefly. What do you think Kendra Lara's legacy is going to be when she leaves the council?
I mean, I think that, she was a steward for the community, and, she's very passionate about the issues and worked hard and advocated for the district and sought change. So I think that, she'll be remembered for that. And yeah, I think now it's, we're going to have a different voice on the council, and we'll see what the voters decide.
All right, William King, thank you. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you.